You can do that on a prop firm. What is the difference? What is the difference? All right, so we're gonna listen to this dude right here, and I think his name's Jason, but he's calling it a scam anyway. So we're gonna jump in and we're gonna watch it, and I've definitely got some points because it is a little bit triggering since I know how prop firms can help, and it's a good stepping stone for newer traders. Anyway, let's start it.
And for many new traders, these challenge-based prop firms appear to be this kind of exciting gateway to big capital and financial freedom. You've seen them popping up everywhere, and on the surface, they look like they're a helping hand to help get you explode your trading into dreamland. But beneath the glossy marketing and viral TikTok testimonials lies a deeply flawed and often exploitative model which I've spent the last year investigating. Now, before I share this with you, I want you to know that I have no agenda here other than to tell you the truth. This channel is and has always been about the truth, and it's not like I'm benefiting in any way, shape or form by doing this video and exploiting these challenges. It makes no difference to me other than I can sleep at night knowing that I've hopefully helped steer someone away from losing their money in their pursuit of building wealth.
So that's a big one, okay? That's a massive statement. So Jason obviously he's an educator in the space. He's teaching people how to trade correctly, which is fantastic. But you're taking all of your money and you're putting it into a broker. And the majority of brokers with 1 to 100 leverage, some even more, the majority of people, you're going to put your first amount of money, let's say £1,000, £1,000, you're going to lose it, the whole thing. And you don't really have any structure or anything to guide you other than probably the rules that you would learn in Jason's course or whatever. The majority, the bog standard person that's coming to learn trading, puts money in a broker, will end up losing it all. Whereas a prop firm, you pay a really, really, really small amount compared to the capital that you'll be trading. So let's say a 5k account where you have structure, you have drawdown rules, you have all of these things to keep you focused, it's £39, $39. And then you've got a target, you've got a framework, you've got rules, and you have to get to those goals before you actually get funded. And if you pass, that gets refunded back to you. So it just baffles me, that statement, but there you go, let's carry on.
So let's talk about the truth behind these models and my discoveries over the last year. Firstly, traditional proprietary trading firms is a firm that starts usually by a trader or a couple of traders, and they throw some money into the firm or they raise some cash, and then they use their skills to trade the money, and then they split the profits. But ultimately, they grow the business capital to then onboard great traders, and then the model continues. That is a real prop firm. They're only...
What? A real prop firm? What is it? It's a prop firm. I think people are so rigid in what has been and are not willing to accept where things are going now. The majority of people cannot go and get a seat on a desk. The majority of people, retail traders, do not have a degree in trading or in economics or anything related to, I don't know if it's right to say that you need a degree to get into one of these desks, but the bar is definitely a lot higher. And the bar to prop firms now is a lot lower. All you need to do is focus on performance. You don't have to do the interviews and then do the tests, and then all you need to show is that you can trade. I don't know why people are stuck in this old old thinking, like the prop firms back then.
The incentive is to find the best traders because they're handing over their own money for them to trade and hopefully make a return. So it's in their best interest to ensure that they find and nurture and support any traders in their firm so that they can all grow together. Now, most modern prop firms, which aren't prop firms, they're disguised as prop firms, usually offer this two-step challenge to access funding. You pay a fee up front, you trade under very, very tight restrictions, and if you pass, you're funded. That seems legit. If I'm going to trade someone's money, I guess it's necessary to have a test before they trust me, right? Okay, well, firstly, these challenges are normally also time-based.
No challenge. This was done 3 weeks ago, I think. No challenge is time-based anymore. Back when I was working at the Fivers, was right at the time where time-based got pushed, non-time-based, unlimited time was pushed out. And the person who came out with that was Matt from my Forex. What's his name now? Matt from my Funded FX. He was the one that came in, decided to make a change, and changed it from 30 days and 60 days to unlimited time. And everybody pushed out afterwards. And the model was great. Because why do you need to put on all of that extra time on a trader? Just give him unlimited time. And to be honest, the traders that are not ready and they're using it as a type of gamble, or they're just not ready for that capital, they're not going to pass anyway. It doesn't matter. The time really doesn't matter. If a trader's going to pass, the trader will pass. And if the trader's not going to pass, it doesn't matter if you give him 30 or 60 days. Sometimes in their head anyway, when you don't give anybody that framework of you've got to pass in a certain amount of time, sometimes they try to pass even faster. Sometimes they try to pass in 1 day. Because the unlimited time was introduced. It's an interesting way, but definitely for the first initial months, you saw people try to push and pass in 1 day, whereas before they would break it up into 30 days. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, there's no time limits anymore. You start a challenge. If it takes you a year, 2 years, 3 years, that's fine. But again, it's a test. You don't want it to take that long. You want to pass it. You want to get funded. You want to get your payouts. But this is just not. Doesn't happen anymore. No, if you go to a firm with time-based challenge, then it's a shame because all the top firms don't have that anymore. Like, nobody has that.
And one of the biggest red flags in modern prop firm challenges is the requirement to hit a specific profit target, often 8% to 10%, within a limited time frame, such as 30 days or 60 days.
Yeah, not correct. Obviously, the 8% and 5%, some obviously harder firms have got 10%. It's not a problem. And I think it's enough to show that you actually have that ability. Not just for the firm to see that you've got the ability, for you to see that you've got the ability. If you can get past a prop firm challenge and you can get payouts, I promise you, you're going to be able to do that as well on a personal account. You're going to be up to a level where you're a decent enough trader that you can work your way around the market and you can grow from there.
This isn't just...
Going off that, to be honest, when you go to a traditional prop firm, you're put on sim, and I'm sure you obviously have targets. You have KPIs, you have drawdown rules, you have all of these different things. I doubt you go on a traditional desk and they put you out to the market straight away. No, they put you on sim. They put you on sim, where they test you, they check that you've got all your risk management in check. You probably have targets. And then each day you'll come in with more risk, more daily loss, more daily loss, more daily loss. And eventually you're swinging a big clip. So
unrealistic. It's fundamentally opposed to how professional trading works. And this proves that the firm is not in your corner. Think about it. Real trading success is process driven, not outcome driven. Market conditions vary constantly. Some months are full of opportunity and others are very slow and require lots of patience. No real trading firm or real proprietary trading firm would expect consistent returns in short windows. That's gambling, not trading. So by forcing traders to...
I love how everybody just says gambling. Honestly, day trading shoots off the same things as when you do if you go to the casino. You know, when you put in money and you're risking money, theoretically, you're getting the same feelings, same places in your brain are spiking. Fine, but you can't just... Everybody's just labeling gambling. If a person's got an edge, if a person is trading with an edge, gamble, everybody says it's gambling. It's just such a buzzword at the moment.
To make a specific amount of money in a short time, what they do is they encourage over trading, and that usually provokes like reckless risk management. It filters out disciplined long-term thinkers, which make great traders.
Again, the firm structure is there in front of you before you even start. With a structure, you've got a target, you've got a maximum drawdown. I don't see any firm... Well, that's not true. Obviously, it depends which firm you go to. The majority of the big firms, even at Funding Rock, that's all you have. You have a target, you have a drawdown level, and that's it. The firm doesn't try to get you to keep trading. It's just not true.
And it sets traders up to fail, just so the firm can sell more challenges. So if the owners of the company truly wanted good traders, they'd be doing the opposite of that, looking for consistency over months, not days.
חברים, תנו לי 60 שניות, ותראו איך אני משנה לכם את החיים. אתם כל יום יושבים מול המחשב, לוקחים מחבר ליד.
They'd be focusing on risk management and not fast profits. They'd be offering support and not pressure. So this time-based model exposes the truth. They don't care about finding great traders, they care about collecting your challenge fee.
So I feel like this whole segment, there's some interesting parts in there that are true, but the majority of this whole segment is just doesn't matter, because it's just not true. It's not accurate. There's no time based anymore. Top firms, even new firms, nobody's doing time based.
But since I've been doing some more digging on these firms, I've made some horrific discoveries that are causing serious problems for new traders all over the world. The first one is payout resistance and delays. Even for traders who pass the challenge and perform well, getting paid is often a battle. Prop firms...
Okay, there's a couple of things to this. One, in any industry, you've got bad players. If you're going in, you're just going to any old firm that you don't know the people behind the firm, you don't know anything about them, they're brand new, then you got to be careful. Like in any other industry, there's going to be sharks. When I first came into this industry in 2021, it wasn't like that. It was there was like 4 or 5 firms. My Forex funds, you had the funded trader, you had the Fivers, FTMO, and everybody was paid and there was no problems and all of this stuff. Now there is a big thing in the prop firm industry of gamers, of scammers that are coming with groups of traders that are hedging between companies, between accounts, and that is hard to deal with. And you can see it in the trading, you can see its toxic flow, and that toxic flow is difficult to actually control. It's one of the biggest problems that prop firms actually have is controlling toxic flow. And those traders, I'm not saying that all traders that get denied and don't get paid out are scammers or are gaming or are doing all of these different things to manipulate what's going on. But there are a lot of cases where the firm has caught traders group trading or hedging or doing things that they shouldn't do, prohibited strategies, and they've been denied. Because at the end of the day, they're doing stuff that they shouldn't do. But I've definitely heard people that have been denied that probably shouldn't. And you've got to watch which firm you go into. If you go into the top firms and you're doing everything right and you're not doing anything weird in the back end, you're not hedging between accounts, or you're just an honest trader, you really have nothing to worry about.
Firms have been known to delay or reduce payouts using these kind of vague terms and conditions. They've been known to cancel accounts over like these minor rule variations, and they also create new restrictions just before payout windows. And that
there is something with some firms, and even I've had it as well, where they reduce your risk, and it is annoying. It is annoying, and it is a little bit of a red flag. But again, it depends what firm you go to. If you go into the big firms and you're not risking over 1.5-2%, I don't know. But there are some firms that will put you on risk limitations, so they'll put your risk that you can only risk 1% per trade and different things like that. So this part is true, and that is kind of annoying, especially if you actually pass the challenge with a certain structure and a certain amount of risk, and then suddenly, once you start getting payouts, they turn around to you and say, okay, no, we want you to cut down your risk because you're risking too much. But that's the way I trade, So
keeps
I agree
the
with him
profits
here.
in their pocket,
This can be
not
quite
yours.
annoying.
Number 2, which we found, is there's rule changes mid-challenge. So firms often change the rules halfway through or after a challenge period, and then maximum
The rules, I would say, is probably just the amount of risk that you can put on.
drawdowns are tightened and things like that. The time
Yeah, don't know about a drawdown. I've never ever heard anybody have a drawdown rule changed on them.
limits are shortened. New metrics like consistency rules are added, right? And these significantly make it harder for traders to qualify. And guess what? Even easier for the firm to avoid paying out. And number 3, the business model is flawed by design, right? The truth is, these companies make most of their money from failed challenge fees.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The companies make the majority of the money from challenge fees. The small amount, if the company knows how to monetize the actual order flow, that is another way of them getting cash flow. If they've had a trader that has got a positive profile on the funded account and they can go out to the market, or the firm knows how to aggregate all of the flow and actually monetize that, that's another way. If they don't, and they're just obviously relying on just people to fail, well, we all know what that is. That's how does a broker makes money off commissions. They make money off spreads. They make money off different types of feeds. The majority of unregulated brokers out there that people are using, you're not out to the market anyway. They take the other side of your trade. So what's the difference? Somebody else is taking the other side of your trade, and you've got brokers that are widening spreads and doing all these different things. They're trying to take your money. So I don't really agree with this. Everybody knows that's just the business model. But that business model now has allowed thousands of traders to get access to capital that they can't get. If you're a brand new trader, you're not going to put 10, 15, 20, 30 grand into an account. And if you do, good luck, because you're going to go through some really hard times and you're going to end up losing a lot of money. You have to pay your your tuition to the market somehow, you know? So I'd rather pay it to a prop firm, lose the challenge and lose the challenge fees and get better that way instead of putting it all in a broker and then losing it.
Not profits, not trading profits. Let that sink in. They profit when you lose or break a rule. This is the opposite to real proprietary trading, where firms win only when their traders win. In these challenges, failure is built into the model. Now, four's a big one, and that is regulation. Regulation is either absent or corrupted. Even when regulators are involved, their objectives often don't align with the trader's protection. Many of these prop firms operate unregulated. They use offshore legal loopholes, and I want to explain a couple of these,
I think most of these are for tax and stuff, but yeah.
which I've found. The first one is registering in lightly regulated jurisdictions. So these firms base themselves in places like St. Vincent or the Grenadines or Seychelles or Marshall Islands or Belize. And locations like these don't require proof of financial solvency.
To be fair, a lot of the big firms aren't. You know, I think there's one. I think you got funding pips that you've got companies, and then obviously one company's, you know, different types of structures. The majority, though, you have a look at the majority of the top firms right now. They're either in the UK, they're either in Europe. You've got obviously the fivers in the Middle East, and you got some others in the Middle East, but most of them are actually in Europe, and they're not actually under that structure. Cyprus, you've got something for Cyprus.
They don't enforce client funds segregation, and they
Most brokers are sitting in Cyprus as well, so I don't really get this one.
have minimal regulatory enforcement. So when you complain or a trader complains, there's no real authority to hold the firm accountable. The second loophole is that they operate through tech providers. So some of these firms, they set up a separate legal entity and call itself a technology provider, which isn't subject to financial regulations. For example, ABC Prop Firm Limited is just a front. And
Some. There's a lot of firms out there now. Pick your firm. Pick correctly. That's all I can say.
all contracts are actually with ABC Technologies LLC, right? An unregulated offshore company. So when traders sign up, they're not trading real money. And the firm avoids the regulation because it's just a simulation. Another one is fake regulation claims. Some firms pretend to be regulated by showing these fake certificates or non-existent fake regulators. Some of them use payment processors in regulated countries while the firm itself is offshore.
So it gives the illusion of safety when in reality,
No one is really watching, except me. Speaking of regulators, they also usually work with regulators who have conflicting interests. So let me tell you what I found here. Even legitimate regulators can have incentives that don't align with protecting traders because, one, funding from the firms themselves, right? So in many cases, regulators are funded in part by the firms they regulate, especially through like licensing fees or fines or monitoring contracts. So the more that the firms stay active, even the shady ones, the more the regulators receive, the more income they receive. Two, overwhelm by volume. So regulators often face thousands of complaints, especially from retail traders, and because they've got limited resources and limited staff, as a result, they prioritize the larger financial institutions. So they don't aggressively pursue offshore cases, which are popping up all over the place like breeding rabbits. So this makes them...
I definitely think some regulation coming into the industry would be fantastic. And the companies at the forefront of this industry, because it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to change. It's just going to mature. It's an emerging market. It's going to mature. It's going to get regulation. And that's fine. That's good.
very ineffective at protecting small retail traders, even if they wanted to. And in
Regulations are rubbish at protecting retail traders anyway. That doesn't make a difference if you're putting money in a broker or your money in, your bank 2008. Well, there you go. Your pension's gone. All your money's gone. And who's going to come and give it you back? No one. So your money's not safe anywhere. I don't think any regulation is there to ensure certain types of things. But at the end of the day, you are the one controlling what happens to your money. You do the due diligence. You find the firm. You're the one, that's taking the risks. No regulator's gonna help with this.
Finally, political or corporate ties. Some regulatory bodies are pressured by local governments that want to attract offshore businesses, or they're pressured by larger financial firms that benefit from weak enforcement. So even when fraud is clear, regulators are usually discouraged from acting.
Don't get me wrong. Jason's probably done a lot of research, and in certain things he's much more knowledgeable than me. And he's probably knows more about the regulation side of brokerages and things like that. So yeah, but
swiftly or decisively. So
with
as you
prop
can
firms,
imagine,
I don't think
this
he's
all
on
leaves
point
traders
too
with no
much.
protection when things go wrong. You don't have a leg to stand on. You just get stiffed. See, these firms, they build an illusion of legitimacy whilst using offshore structures, unregulated entities, regulators with no teeth, and in the end, it's you, the trader, who's left with no protection and usually no payout. They're constantly changing the rules to make it harder for you to get any further than paying them the joining fee. That is their motivation. So just as some final thoughts on this, the saddest thing in all of this is that it's destroying good traders. Traders go through this process and they give up for good because they get burnt thinking that this is what trading is, and it isn't. And then they give up on the thing that they were passionate about and had a really good feeling about because it now makes them have a negative feeling towards it instead. So if you're new...
This would be a really interesting conversation just to have. Just to understand if it is detrimental to traders, if they're just starting on prop and then going into a personal account. I don't know. It's a very interesting conversation. I have friends and people that just trade prop firm, and even myself, I trade primarily prop firms, and the accounts are just copied over to a personal account. So it's all the same trading and all the same trades. So it would be quite interesting, but you'd have to test it, and it's very hard to test this out.
New to trading, here's the truth. Most traders never get paid by prop firms. These prop firms are designed to make you fail the challenge. The money is in your fees, not your talent, and you have no legal leverage if you're scammed. You're not trading real money. So
that's true. If a prop firm turns around and just busts, the money's gone. The money's gone. What happened to the funded trader? It just vanished. My Forex funds, what happened with that? Absolutely vanished. But there's some sinister stuff behind that as well, and that's a lot of internal stuff from claims from people that work there. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background as well. Certain tech providers and certain people were doing things. Were being a bit dodgy. But yeah,
most prop firms use simulated trading environments, demo accounts with virtual capital, which means you're not under any regulated trading agreement.
But again, even in a normal prop firm, even in a traditional old school prop firm, you're not gonna get put on a real account straight away anyway. You all train on simulators. That's how everybody gets started. At least with the simulator in prop, once you show that you can do it, you're actually getting paid out quite a lot of money for what you're actually trading. I just don't get why people are so against this, because it is such a opportunity for traders that just don't have capital.
have no official client relationship with a real broker. And since you're not handling real money, financial regulators don't intervene. So instead of chasing funding with $100 challenge or $1,000 challenge, right? Focus on learning real skills. Real skills, managing risk, building long-term profitable strategies and systems, and prove to yourself that you can generate consistent return.
You can do that on a prop firm. What is the difference? What is the difference going onto a personal account? You have to learn how to manage risk anyway. You can't pass a prop firm if you don't manage your risk correctly. You can't pass a prop firm if you don't have strategies that you've built up and mastered. So what this point, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, it's unnecessary. It's not a good point.
And then you'll have no problem attracting money. It will be everywhere. Trust me. I have plenty of resources on this channel where you can learn more about this. You don't even need to pay. I'll put some videos here and in the...
There's the incentive. Maybe he's got some type of aggregated fund. I don't know. But I don't think if you got a track record of a couple of years, people are throwing money to you. I don't know if it works like that. Honestly, I don't know. But the lowest barrier into this is through prop trading. And you have to manage your risk. You have to learn how to trade. And you can still build up a track record. One of my biggest issues when coming into prop trading was I didn't build up the track record because we were changing accounts all the time. And it was just... That's one of my biggest mistakes. And if I could go back from when I started trading with prop and I started doing trading, was to build up a consistent track record. And by doing that, let's say you open up an account with a broker that's copied up with all of your prop trading, and you know that account with that bit of money in is never going to change, and that's the account that you're growing your track record with. And it's super important. Do that when you're ready. Do that when you've passed and you're starting to see that you're actually getting better. Obviously, track your trades through journaling and all of that stuff. TradeZilla and all of these. Edgewonk is fantastic when you're first starting because it gives you so many good statistics. But once you start getting consistent, you want to get that track record. So put up my FX book, attach it to, an account, a small account with a broker, and then just track your stats. And that's a recommendation that I wish I did that earlier on.
The description. Oh, and I do have an ask of you. I need your help to spread the word on this, right? We need to protect new traders from these traps. So share this with anyone thinking about doing a prop firm challenge, and let's just shine the light on the truth. And very lastly, if you have had a good experience with a prop firm, let me know in the comments. And if you've had a bad experience, let me know in the comments as well, right? Let us use this video as a beacon.
So I've started working with the Fivers in 2021, and I was part of projects and meetings where we're trying to build products that are good for the trader. We're doing webinars, we're teaching, we're so many different things. And even with some of the other big firms, FTMO, I've been paid out over 50,000 up to now from FTMO, and they're fantastic. What we're doing at Funding Rock right now is that any trader that has gone into a funded stage and they've got a positive risk profile with a little bit of consistency, they go out to the market, because obviously we want to take traders out into the market if they can show they've got a positive risk profile. And if you're not ready, then that's fine. You're not putting your money in a brokerage and losing it all. I did that when I first started trading crypto. I started trading crypto. I went full leverage in some crypto coins and lost massive amounts of money because I was following some of the people in some different trading groups, and you know, that money at the time was even from now, it's absolutely humongous. You know, it's a lot of money to lose. So to lose that much in prop firms, I wouldn't have even got close, because it's just the way that it's structured. That would have been lots of challenges, and the majority of people don't take that many challenges before they get paid out or before they pass.
Like the forum of truth regarding these prop firms, so we can actually help this amazing community and do well and live well and have the success that we want. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.
Look, I definitely think Jason has got some top content.
All right, welcome to the video.
And he's definitely a trader, and you should definitely subscribe to his channel. I just think he's missed it a little bit when it comes to prop firms. I think he's got a bit of a bias. I think he just doesn't like it. I think that he's only hearing one side of everything and not really putting it into the perspective of, you know, somebody that hasn't got much money to start off with. It's very difficult, you know, building up the skill when you haven't got any risk in the game. You know, let's say you've got $1,000 to use in trading. The majority of people are just going to put that in a broker, and then they're going to leverage up and end up losing it all, because they start to see that they've got some success, but now because they've got the success, they want to make the money, and that's when they over leveraged and then ended up blowing their account. Whereas if you break that $1,000 up into 3 and you get 50k evaluation accounts, and you're in a structured environment and you're pushing yourself and you're getting better and you're getting better and you're getting better and you're getting better, maybe you blow it. Maybe you did something wrong. Maybe you blow it. You got another one. You learn from your mistakes and you do it again. And eventually you're building that skill without risking absolutely everything. And once you pass, you get refunded. I'm obviously biased as well, because I've been in the prop firm space for a number of years. I grew up as a trader in the prop firm space, so I'm biased, but I think everybody needs to take it into perspective. Obviously, he's got to have balance, have a personal account, leverage prop firms for what they are, is leverage. That's all a prop firm is. A prop firm is leverage. You take your skill, they give you the leverage, and you leverage what they give you to put more money in your personal account, and that is it. No need to overthink it, and pick the right firm. Picking the right firm is one of the most important things. If you don't pick the right firm, then you are going to come up with some of the issues that Jason did say. So, and there are cowboys out there. There are a lot of cowboys and a lot of firms that are open one day and then closed. 100%. But the main big firms, they're not like that. I don't know about futures. Okay, I'm talking about specifically CFD firms. Futures, I don't like their rules, but that's a different video. So anyway, give Jason a follow. Some of these comments are quite interesting. FTMO not to me the challenge. You know, who knows what that means? That guy. So FTMO knocked me out of the challenge at 9% equity loss. Who knows how much risk that guy had on, and you know, it hit his stop loss, and by the time the account closed, you know, it went up. You know, price spiked or whatever. You don't know. So it's easy looking at all of these comments and people crying about what's happened. Some people like prop firms, some people don't. But yeah, the majority of firms, top firms, are totally fine. And I don't think... So I've been trading options for 3 years and recently switched to Forex and love it. I understand margin and leverage. Thank you for this video. I'm about to watch part 2, Forex trading. Jason's a a top educator, to be fair. I've looked at some of his stuff, so props to him. Definitely hope that I can give as much value to people as he's done in the future. But that's it. So see you later, guys. Anyway, I hope you pick your right firm, and I hope you get paid out. And if not, come to Funding Rock, because we're building something really good over there, and we'd love to see you.